Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight I have a first look for you guys at Megatron. Let's get down to it. We've got Henry J. Hyde obviously as our commander. And there you go. Bismarck. Yeah. What can I say about Bismarck that I haven't said already? So yeah, let's just go into the camo. Okay? We've got... honestly, one of the nicest camos. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Both of the permanent camos that you get, one for the Bismarck, one for the Iowa, are fantastic. I like both of them. But honestly, I do like this one better. This is clean. I'm not even a Transformers guy. Like, I could give literally no less about this. But the camo's nice. I do like this camo. It's pretty sick. We are going to take a look at the Megatron Commander, just to reiterate the fact that I don't know why anybody would buy the Commanders. So, let's take a look at him. Megatron. And I know there are people talking about how awesome it is to have a commander for the battleships that increases the range of your guns, because I don't know why they would be talking about that. That's not that helpful. The other thing is it gets the exact same perks as Optimus Prime, and Revocation Protocol is something that everybody's been talking about as well. Reduce the duration of fire on your ship and decrease spotter reload time. Fire duration, awesome. Spotter reload time, not so much. But, I mean, it's up to you guys. Most people are going to be running the spotter plane, so I can understand using this, especially on this particular ship. But the commander, I mean, it doesn't offer you anything that would say, yes, I want to go spend $100 or whatever it is for the package. Like, do you really want that? I don't think so. I don't think there's too many people do. Henry J. Hyde is the best German commander you can get for battleships. If you don't have Henry J. Hyde from the Halloween event, then of course you're going to be running either Von Hipper or Otto Celiax. Celiax is the brawler build. You can see we've got the brawler perks. And guess what? He has a damage con reload time as a possible if you don't want to go with the minus on your range for your main batteries. Okay? The AP shell damage is nice. But at the same time, it's still a German battleship. But you do get the 2 extra heals and all of that, which you can get with Megatron as well. So again, I just don't understand why they put these commanders in here. And this is the best that they can do as far as a crossover event or whatever for the... like, at least with the Azure Lane commanders, there was quite a bit of extra stuff there. I know they each had their own perks, but they were a mishmash. This is just a straight-up tank build. That's all it is. So I don't know why anybody would be that interested in this. If you want to waste your promotion orders, I guess, but you already have 2 tank build commanders possible, and both of them are probably maxed out, because the only reason that you would run a tank build commander on a German battleship is if you're maxed out and you get those 2 extra heals instead of 1. So, yeah, that's my, my first look at Megatron. So, yeah, I guess we'll get to the gameplay, and, we'll take Salty Spartan over there as well. Just when I thought that I was done with this ship, Wargaming reaches out and pulls me right back in. Megatron is no more than an excuse to make me play the Bismarck, and nobody can change my mind. That's all this was. They went into this whole big thing. I understand that there's lots of money involved, most likely from whoever owns... I honestly, there was a copyright thing I should have read, but whoever owns Transformers and Wargaming. But you cannot tell me that they couldn't have put this... like, if they had just put this on the Tirpitz. But I understand why they didn't, because not everybody has the Tirpitz. Even though it is literally a Bismarck, except it has torpedoes, which at least give it a chance. So I'm not gonna sit here and cry about the Bismarck the entire time, but I will say this. You guys owe me, okay? Just remember this. You guys owe me for this. I am tired of playing this ship. I try not to play it. I really do. But then in streams, you guys are like, come on, Spartan, you gotta play the Bismarck. And I'm like, really? And then Wargaming does this to me. But anyway. So, the Bismarck. The greatest ship that has ever existed, according to every fanboy German battleship guy that's out there, even though there is absolutely nothing to substantiate that claim. Nothing! It's only famous because it got one lucky hit, and they're not even 100% sure it was Bismarck that hit it. But, in World of Warships and World of Warships Legends, it is a laughingstock. It's a meme ship. It's got a bunch of secondaries that make it look pretty when it gets inside range. But that's it. And at least on PC, you have IFHE that make your secondaries hit harder. But you don't have that on console. So the secondaries on console are basically useless. So the one thing that makes this ship at least entertaining isn't. Now here's going to show the one flaw of the Bismarck, and that is it has turtleback armor. And at any sort of range beyond 12 kilometers, if you're broadside on, you're going to get paddled. As the Iowa that is in the perfect position to counter this push that I am trying to make is about to demonstrate. Yep, right there. Perfect. Perfect shot. You gotta love it. Every time that I try to play the ship, and people give me all kinds of grief about it, I try to play the ship the correct way. I try to get close. I try to be the aggressor. I try to push up. And every single time... Hello, Scharnhorst. We're going to use the spotter plane to just see how good this dispersion looks, right? It's still horrendous. A full broadside salvo with a moderate dispersion build commander, because Hyde is a dual build. With a moderate dispersion build commander and the spotter plane active, we get 3 hits out of a full broadside. At 8 kilometers? Okay, 11 kilometers. But that's because he's turning away now. Anyway, I'm not in a hurry to shoot my guns right now, because the only thing keeping me not spotted is that smoke screen up ahead. Now, the good news is we've already gotten rid of one of their destroyers. The bad news is my team is going to just not do anything as far as capturing bases go. I've said it before, I'll say it again. These German battleships can be very, very good in a very specific role. But you almost have to run them in a division with other people, preferably 2 other people, that can also take some of the attention. Or at least punish the people who are taking it and giving you all the attention. Because the one thing that these ships do really well is get everybody's attention. You see a Bismarck, you see a Tirpitz, you see a Gneisenauer, you see a Scharnhorst, everybody starts shooting at it. Why? Because it's the easiest freaking punching bag in the game. Whether it's bow tanking, stern tanking, kiting away, whatever you want to call it, or flat broadside, makes no difference. This shares the exact same weakness as the Americans in the fact that they have extra HP and a force. Wichita hits me with 2 shells and sets me on fire. Love it. Also, did you notice the fires? I just now noticed that. It's digital fires that are kind of cool. Not gonna lie, didn't notice that until just now in the playback. I was a little more focused on what was going on out in front of me, and trying not to go out in front of the 2 Iowas that are just waiting for me to give them another broadside. Generally speaking, I try to avoid such things. Now, I'm not going to lie, in this particular match, I was actually getting relatively decent RNG, as we're about to show on this Scharnhorst Black, who's broadside again. That's great RNG, isn't it? You say no, but we actually hit a shell, and we only had 4 of them headed to the target. That's pretty impressive. That's a 25% hit rate. That's not bad for the Bismarck. Don't laugh at me. I'm spouting the truth. As we saw with the full broadside, and only getting 3 shells to hit, and only 2 of them actually did any damage. One was an overpin, and the other one was an actual penetration. The 3rd shell bounced. Or shattered. Either way, it was useless. But we're going to try to push up. Now that these Iowas aren't focused on us, we're going to try to push up. Unfortunately, the moment that I start pushing up, the guys to my left and the cruisers start firing their guns, which gets the Iowas to look in this direction once again. And so once I fire the full broadside, I'm going to go straight to bow tanking, because I need to minimize the amount of damage I'm going to take in return. Look at that! Beautiful salvo right there. 4 shells hit out of the full broadside, and we got 2 penetrations. 2 ricochets, but 2 penetrations. So that was a good salvo for the Bismarck. You got to take everything with a grain of salt with the Bismarck. Things that you're expecting. That is the difference between having a good ship shooting and a bad ship shooting. I hit him with 2 shells, or I hit him with 4 shells. 2 of them bounce and 2 of them give me a little bit of damage. He hits me with everything and manages to take another 1/5 of my health. Because Iowa's a good ship, Bismarck not so much. At least not in this particular engagement. But we do finally get a Citadel off of the Iowa, which was nice. He repays us by taking another chunk off of us because, again, it's a Bismarck. So everywhere that anybody hits, they're going to get damage. You rarely bounce shells in this ship. If you're trying to angle, you're getting shot in the superstructure. It's just the way this goes, and it's the same in the Iowa. Okay, but the Iowa can bow tank, and the superstructure will get. I mean, you can shred an Iowa through the superstructure. We've all done it. But we're using the cover of the island to try to get some. Get away from the Iowa's amazing main battery, and he gets just close enough to make it to where I can't shoot over the island anymore because, again, there's really not a lot of good to these guns. They do, however, when you do get sufficiently close, they can absolutely punish people, but you have to be really close, and anything outside of extremely close is just rolling the dice on whether A, you hit them, and B, whether it actually does damage or not. Because how many times you fire the guns on these things and you just absolutely do nothing. Now, I've said at the beginning of this match, I'm not going to spend the entire game talking about how bad this is. And I know you guys are probably upset. I can already hear your guys' keyboards typing away down in the comments below, talking about how I need to shut up about the Bismarck. We get it. If you don't like it, don't play it. I'm trying not to play it. I just get forced. But we are going to keep pushing forward. Now, I'm going to be told by my teammates that I need to get back, that what I'm doing is a terrible idea, because why would we push forward when the enemy has 3 caps to our 1 and is currently 200 points ahead of us, and the only way anybody's going to get anything in this match is if we happen to get lucky. Now, the Jervis over there is just absolutely begging for it, but everybody in my team is in a terrible position to actually do anything about him. So he's just going to sit out there, and he's most likely going to be launching torpedoes in our general direction, which is why in just a couple moments you're going to see me try to pump up the sonar. A, because 6 kilometer spotting range, or 5.5, or whatever it is. I think it's 6 though. 6 kilometer sonar range on the Bismarck, so fantastic in that regard. And the Iowa is creeping forward, so I'm going to utilize his superstructure. And look at that! 8,800 damage through the superstructure of the Iowa. 3 full penetrations. That's why the Germans and the Americans are so weak when it comes to certain engagements. That's not what you want to see. I'm going to have to try to turn out in front of this Iowa to avoid this torpedo. Ooh, yep, we good. But unfortunately, turning out to avoid the torpedo is going to put me in the absolute worst position possible when it comes to getting shot by this Iowa. And then the Helena comes up and he's just like, I want some! It's a Bismarck! I can burn this guy for ages! You're in a light cruiser, bud. Do you not know how this ends? The one time that my secondaries are actually useful is against light cruisers. See what I mean about the fire? That's pretty cool. But against light cruisers, destroyers. Heavy cruisers and battleships, not so much. But light cruisers and destroyers get shredded by these secondaries. And so we're trying to hit them with the main batteries, and we do actually get 2 hits off the front guns, so not bad. Of course, they're overpins because it's a light cruiser, and we're a battleship, so overpins. But but we're doing damage. And he's not long for this world because he's getting ready to run into the other side of my secondaries. And he actually got punished pretty hard by whoever shot him from behind us. But we get a close quarters expert! German battleships unite! we did something with our secondaries. Woo! We're up to 15 secondary hits. 15. Which is why I say that having the 10 or 11 kilometer range or 12 kilometer range, if you max it out or whatever it ends up being, isn't particularly useful. Because you saw how close we were, and we hit 15 shells from our secondary. That being said, the Scharnhorst is going to give up a little bit more than that. We get another 9,000 damage off of him, and we're going to avoid his torpedoes, and we're also trying to get away from that Iowa. Now, the Iowa's going broadside on, and he's definitely overrunning everything. Now, in hindsight, I should have probably stayed back and let the Akatsuki do his job. But, I mean, he hasn't done anything up to this point. Why would he do anything more? And everybody behind me is so worried about me running away. He fires his guns. I have no choice but to fire the guns. And, of course, he kills me, and I get 4 hits on him. But 4 damaging hits that time, taking our damage total up to 95,304. And then we have this full health Iowa who's sitting in the back. Do I need to say it? I don't need to say it. Literally, one of the best, if my personal favorite, and it's gotten all of its health and has done basically nothing most of the game, if I had to guess. But that being said, Akatsuki is going to be rewarded for his absolutely useless play. And he's going to actually get to torp this poor Iowa, who has not really played a very good game. He just sat behind an island too and hoped to God his team won for him, and he just happened to get on the receiving or the winning side. But 95,000 damage in the Bismarck. You guys know I hate the ship, so it's not a bad game for me in this thing. I've had better, but honestly, I couldn't bring myself to play it again. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like I said, love the camos for the Transformers, and if they just did like a camos thing and made it cheaper for everybody, I think it would have been so much more successful. But to put the commanders in there and stuff, I don't know, man. Or, like, do the camos and a voice pack or something, you know, bring it in as like a voiceover. You can switch your commanders to be in the Autobots or Decepticons or whatever you prefer. That would have been better than, I think, having the 2 commanders that are just tank build commanders slapped reskinned. Like, that, to me, I don't like that. You guys may disagree, and that's the beauty of having an opinion. So if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.